Hey everyone, I am here on IGTV to talk about pie pumpkins and what we can use them for when you're baking for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I've had this pumpkin since before Halloween. It stayed perfectly fine in my house. It didn't get soft or rot. As long as you don't cut it, your pumpkin is gonna last. So you can find one in the grocery store now and they're probably gonna run out before Thanksgiving. And what you're going to do, also make sure it has a good stem, because if the stem comes off, it's gonna start rotting here. And I know all of this because I grew up on a pumpkin farm. And what you're gonna do, first thing is remove the stem. You're gonna have your knife and you're going to cut the pumpkin in half. I'm not a professional cutter. And we've got the 2 pumpkin shells. And these are perfectly good seeds. We're gonna scoop them out and we're going to save them to bake later, just like you would do with a jack-o'-lantern. And I just use a regular tablespoon. So you wanna really clean the pumpkin shells out because the pie pumpkin is one of the stringiest squashes. It's not like your butternut squash or acorn squash was actually like really smooth. This stringy stuff does not cook well and you're not gonna like it when you do bake it. And you really wanna scrape that all out. Okay. And the pie pumpkin is actually way less stringier than the kind of pumpkin that you carve with, a field pumpkin. And it also tastes different. These are sugar pie pumpkins, so they're really good for baking. And once you have these 2 clean shells, you're going to put them shell up into a casserole dish with about a 1/2 inch of water in it. Just like this. And we're gonna transfer it to the oven, which has been preheating at 400. And we're gonna time it about 45 minutes and we will come back and we will test to see if they're ready. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes, a little bit longer, and we are gonna test to see if the pumpkin is ready. So how you test is, you're gonna take your fingers and just kind of push in a little bit. If your fingers leave a dent, like that, then you know it's time. Okay, so we're going to transfer these guys to a plate. I'm gonna let them cool for a few minutes. Oh no. Got it. All right, so the pumpkin shells have been sitting out a little bit. They're not as hot as they were when they came out. And I've got my tablespoon and I'm going to just scoop out everything from inside the pumpkin shell. This is exactly what I'll be using instead of canned pumpkin. It is natural, there's nothing added to it, there's no preservatives, and it can stay in your fridge for a few days, and you can also freeze it. So you can use that, you know, whenever. So this is cool because it's a time saver. So thank you so much for watching. If you use a pumpkin this Thanksgiving, I really want to know about it and tag me in your photos or your videos because I get very excited when I find out that people bake fresh fruit and vegetables.